to Scrabble Players Championship 2026 in hazy Cedar Rapids, Iowa. It's a smoky day outside. Kind of smells like smoke in the hotel as well. But what is more important than a Scrabble tournament for national championship title? Evan Chester, his first Division I championship at 11 wins, 6 losses. He was in 4th place at the start of the day. He hit a couple of snags and lost a couple of games, but he's going first now against Jason Lee for the second time this tournament. This is a repeat pairing. I actually don't know what happened in their first meetup, but this will be an interesting one, Will.
Yeah, very, very interesting to watch this one. Two players with very, very solid defensive-minded sensibilities here. And again, just to really hammer this home, Evan's first competitive Scrabble tournament coming just over 2 years ago on June 29th, 2024. Crazy. That is amazing. You do not see ascension this rapid in this game. There's just too much to learn, too many strategic ideas to master, too many words to learn to anagram and see in game. This is a rare talent. And with just barely 2 years under his belt, it's going to be really, really fun to watch him over the next few years. But of course, it is fun to watch him right now go up against one of the masters in this field, Jason Lee. As it looks like he's getting set to play Erie here. Good way to unduplicate some vowels, score decently, and move on.
Yeah, Erie was an option. Yeti was an option. Exchanging down to TRRE was an option. All those plays pretty similar in value. Evan taking 44 seconds for this decision. This is top level strategy, time management. And like you said, it's just been 2 years. And since then, he has ascended faster than anyone in Scrabble history, Will. And there is a nice rack of AEIORST. If he gets a letter to play through, he will be bingoing next turn. It is just incredible. We have the prodigious story of Mac Meller, who started when he was around 10, as Buck comes down for Jason Lee. This looks like a very strong play for him. But eroticas will be possible now for Evan Chester, as well as rotaries through the R. But yeah, I just want to speak a little bit about the ascension. Like you mentioned, Evan Chester gaining around 750 points in his first year of Scrabble play. Mac Meller started when he was 9 or 10 years old at a 1400 rating, got up to 2000 within 2 years or so, 2 or 3 years. Evan Chester getting up to the 1900s, but will he make it to 2000 level? Right now, his live rating, 1905. So probably not this tournament, but it is just incredible to witness his ascension. But we'll see if the more experienced Jason Lee can take him down in this game. Rotaries is the choice by Evan, and that is a nice way to take an early lead in this game, 80-30. And look at that rack for Jason Lee. Oof.
I would say in a vacuum that I might prefer eroticas here through the C, not just for the 2 more points, but just to avoid placing an S in this nice spot. If you put the S here, you cannot end 8-letter words in it. Whereas here, not only can you play into the S, but you can play ST and SS words. So maybe he has a strategic reason for it, but I think I would have taken the extra points there. That being said, good job by him to get off of that rack, play the bingo, and now a tricky situation for Jason with all those consonants. How is he going to be able to navigate this, Josh? Tough situation for him here.
He has an amazing option through the Y of Erie, TYPP, one of the least seen 4-letter words in all of Scrabble, requiring both P's and one of the 2 Y's. That looks like by far and away his best play. I don't know how much worse Rotaries is than Erotica's, although it does create better bingo opportunities. The R in Erotica's would have set up 6-letter words to that triple, so maybe there is some scoring defense associated to this play. Jason finding PWN, which fits with NE or EN. but I feel like TYPP is a must find here if you want to make the best play.
Yeah, fantastic play through this Y, scoring 29. That is so far higher than anything else. You keep your Z for next turn if you can draw some vowels. Usually we've seen, oh, there we go, Josh. He set the letters aside. I think the light bulb just went off.
That is such a good find. It is just a four-letter word, but such a bizarre one at that, and playing through a Y that looks blocked off. That is top level.
Beautiful play finding by Jason Lee. And we move on. Evan with the Q, and he does have a pretty clear place to play it, and he's going to go ahead and waste no time. I think this makes all the sense in the world, Josh. This is the only way to productively play with that Q. Yes, you give up the S. Yes, you give up the T hook of Roquette, but that's a small price to pay to dump that Q now and move on to the next turn.
That's right. Yeah, great find. Once that was the first three tiles you drew RQE, so a little bit easier than usual maybe to spot the play while you're drawing your new tiles. But such a nice in-between move. And there is Jason Lee. The tile he had flipped over is a U going with that V and W, so not the last tile you want to see on your rack. And it's going to be really hard again to find a good play for Jason Lee. ENRUVWZ is Jason Lee's rack. I just do not see a good option for him.
Yeah, of course, with the leave of WNRZ, you're definitely setting yourself up to struggle at times on your next turn. But drawing UV into that rack and into almost any rack is almost always the kiss of death anyway. So picking two tiles that anti-synergistic that to go along with your W, that's just not what Jason needed right there. Not even the E could save his draw from that VW, one of the worst combinations. If you watch enough Scrabble streams, you will hear Josh, you will hear me, you will hear all of our commentators bemoaning the combinations like VU, WU, and WV.
What do you do now? Jason Lee setting up Z at the bottom left to the E of Roque for 28. That's his best score. But it keeps V, W, U, N, R.
Oof.
How are you getting out of that next turn? You need very specific draws to continue to play after a play like Z. Will we see Jason Lee exchange instead? He's down by around 50 points, but he's just going to go ahead and take 28 and try to trudge through the mud. His next couple moves, narrowing the gap to 21 points. If Evan Chester has a tough rack to deal with, this might be fine. And this does block Roquette as well. Is harder to use now. So Evan Chester hoping for a spot for Ladrone. He's not going to get one.
Yeah, it's an interesting decision by Jason because in a vacuum, you would never want to keep WUV or whatever it is, but this board is very closed down. If ever there was a time for Jason to be patient, take your 28-point play while you have it and keep the board locked down, it's while your tiles are weaker. If the board was wide open with tons of bingo opportunities available, if only your rack was a little bit better, then maybe it's time to exchange and try to hit that bingo. But this is not that type of a board. So I think there's a very reasonable decision there to just grab the points, fight your way through the clunk, and eventually when the board opens up, maybe then you'll be ready to pounce.
Yeah, it's good to take the points. It's also very practical, making the position a little bit more complicated. Perhaps Jason Lee making a little bit of a choice based on who he's playing to keep things more complicated, keep things more closed, keep things closer on the scoreboard, and try to maybe induce more mistakes against his younger, less experienced opponent. And look at this. Lied through the eye and Erie?
I can tell you that if Evan, so he's now thinking about Ordeal, two very different plays, and I think if you're gonna dare Evan and say, "Are you the 2-year career player? Are you comfortable dancing with me on a really really close board?" Evan is gonna say, "No problem." He is very comfortable. That is his strength. He likes navigating these increasingly and incredibly closed boards, but he is going to go ahead and take the points here. This is perfectly reasonable as well. Kind of a choose your own adventure type play, Josh, where you want to take those points and open things up or keep it tight. That being said, what does your opponent playing Z do to factor in here?
Yeah, maybe doesn't have a T pretty much ever. Yeah, I wonder if there's any inference to be made. Such a huge difference. If Evan had played lied, kept things tight, suddenly Jason Lee has nothing. Now he has unwove to the E of ordeal, and that is going to be easily his best play, and he's playing it almost instantly. So he got out of the rack. He got what he wanted, 32 points, 119 to 140. But look
What?
at the draw for Evan Chester. He has a bingo through that L, and does he know it? It is kind of low probability, Will, and we know that Evan Chester is brand new to Scrabble, and he has been studying his head off, but has he studied enough to have seen the word finialed? That is a really tough one, even if you've studied it, actually.
I believe this word is in his range, and I think he's probably feeling that spider sense that, man, I probably have something here. And wouldn't you know it, it just got even more important that he see this bingo and figure out a way to play in this spot because Jason can just hit 50 points if he wants it next turn at this point. So this is going to be a huge swing. Are we going to see the bingo of finialed come down? I like his odds to know this word. I don't like my odds to draw the letter F on the screen, but I do feel like Evan should know this. I believe this is in his range. As you say, though, having studied a word is not a guarantee of coming up with it in game. And there we go. Tiles arrange. Now, oh, he looks skyward though, Josh. Is this oh man, am I hallucinating this on the live stream? Nope.
There it is. Such impressive word knowledge from Evan Chester and word finding ability. Jason knows this word. He's going to give it the nod of approval. No nod at all, actually. And this was huge for Evan Chester. Like you said, a huge swing. If he played something like fine, which is a good play to the left of unwove, EX coming down, narrowing the gap. But now Jason Lee in a world of trouble with 6 consonants and really no good way to part with the X or even create opportunities for himself to bingo.
Yeah, that just really hurt. He was hoping against hope that that X spot would stay open and just let him score an easy 50. Instead, a much more complicated decision to make. Now you have to decide, how am I going to use this X and keep the nice nucleus of bingo tiles that I have together? There isn't really a great way to both use the X and keep your vowel. You almost have to play that E if you're Jason, if you're going to play your X anywhere. Not even sure where that would be, whether you're playing Lex and XU up here. This doesn't look great to play. Are we looking at just playing, I don't know, you couldn't play. There's just no other good plays. I'm not sure what to do.
I think Jason is having a little bit of a brain fart here, if I had to guess. Maybe he's thinking he can play from the A of ordeal, but that would make XE. Yeah, otherwise I'm not sure what he's thinking about. Where do you even play the X? XU for 9?
Just here. Oh,
There's nothing to do here, so this must just be a weird situation where Jason is hallucinating a 2-letter word, if I had to guess.
the score being what it is makes me less likely to consider something like lean, which if it were even remotely close, I would consider this just to grab 20 odd points, keep the X for next turn, and maybe you draw enough vowels to play something a little bit better in that spot. All you would need is an I or a U from the bag to power up that value of the X in that spot. So maybe he's going to pivot to lean here and just hope for a little bit better of an option next turn. But you are beholden to a vowel draw. If you do that, you're going to be lean in this spot. Will leave GRSX, which if you do not draw two vowels, you're going to be in the same predicament next turn.
Yeah, maybe Jason thinking about golf now through the disconnected U and F on the top right of the board. I feel like preserving that lane under the D of bucked is a good idea. Ugh, Lex. I think Lex and XU is necessary here.
Oh, it hurts to play that. And I think Jason is very flexible. He is willing to be aggressive when the situation warrants it. And this one does, with Evan up by a very solid 80 plus point margin in this game. And now I think he set aside lean. That would be incredible patience on his part to just say, look, I don't have a way that I'm comfortable opening the board now. I'm going to play lean and hope for a better play with the X. That type of patience feels a lot easier to stomach when the score is 40 points apart, 50 points apart, as opposed to 80. So let's see. And he's agonizing Josh over this one.
Yeah, he definitely doesn't like it, but Jason Lee is such a versatile player. He can play it slow. He can really take things to the second degree and blow the board open when he wants to. But he sees the state of the board. He has such a good sense of what might happen later. He sees there are so many spots on this board that really aren't going away. And Lean coming down for a nice 25 or so points, narrowing the gap to 60, and he's just going to be patient with it. He's just going to try and get a better option later to open the board. Or maybe he will never open the board. Maybe he realizes that R and Rotary is staying open a lot of the time. The underlaps of Roke, very difficult to stomach for Evan in the lead. Maybe that's going to stay there. There's a vowel. There's another vowel. And Gox and XU might be his next choice. But there's a second G. Oof.
Oof, yeah, things are looking good with the vowels. I was wondering, is he going to pull a third one? Again, the I or U would have been really nice just to pump up the value of a play here just a little bit. But yeah, it does look like Gox is almost forced if it stays open. Now it's up to Evan to navigate kind of a tough situation of his own here with too many vowels for sure. He has YOU set aside. Is he thinking about playing your here
No,
to
no, no,
potentially?
no.
What could he be thinking with that?
You're to the R of ordeal.
Oh yeah, way better. Yeah, this is much better.
It actually
Blocking
makes
off.
valid words. Careful, Will.
Oh yeah, my bad. Got to click off that. That's my first mistake like that. But yeah, in
It's
any
never
case,
15 games, like you say.
yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, do you play your for 14? I mean, it does kind of keep the board in its state, sets up scoring. What are you thinking Jason Lee is keeping with a play like lean? Maybe another L, maybe another N, probably another E. There's so few E's left unseen. It would be hard to part with one. That's what Devin Chester has to think about. What does that play signal, and does that change my circumstances? He's going back to YOUR. Can't be happy with this play. He wants to keep stabbing. He wants to keep scoring, but it is a good way to part with the tiles you don't want, Will.
Yeah, it is. And I agree with you that lean looks way more dangerous in the general case than it actually is here. It looks like a play that, like, if you're trailing as Jason is, why would you play lean on the interior of the board for 25 points, opening nothing new as we see Oxo come down very quickly? The reason you would see a play like lean is if Jason had really good bingo tiles, but no playable bingo, he could be confident that his tiles are good enough that he doesn't have to open anything new. So Evan could feel more inclined to play some defense, inferring that strength. But in this particular case, that is not what Jason was dealing with. He was in a really unique situation that threw Evan off the scent a little bit. But not to say that Evan made a mistake or anything of the sort. but I'm sure he's going to be surprised when he learns what Jason held on that play of lean.
Yeah, this is going to be really bad. Tiared was drawn. Oxo to the left of Unwove was the play. And yeah, Evan spotting this, I guess the least played word in this set. And Jason, don't believe is going to be able to respond. There's a few 7-letter words on his rack, but I don't believe they fit underneath Tiared. Oof.
Yeah,
I think
that
this is game.
is. Yeah, this is a tough one. Looks like no playable bingos here, and Evan up by over 100 now. And the best that Jason can do here is literally just Griggs, which ironically, holding an N with a couple more eyes to come, that is not the worst play here, Josh. To put a G in the lower left corner, kind of annoying to deal with that. So getting points and putting something good, that seems like a reasonable play. Hate to part with the S, but I think it's not even that valuable here with no great hooks for it. I think that's got to be the play for Jason to stay in range.
Yeah, once he realizes his sevens don't quite fit, I think playing for almost 50 points with Rockettes and setting up a really difficult to block spot on the bottom left, as you mentioned with Griggs, would be the right choice here, but it can't feel good down 117 points. Look at that redraw too from Evan Chester. He's going to have a host of really, really good options. Jawan to the left of Yor. And if the Rockay's spot stays open, does he not have anything there? But anyways, in any case, Evan Chester definitely well in the driver's seat, and it goes a little bit back to the choice of Z for Jason Lee. It's been taking him so much time to sort through his racks here, but Grig's the best way to fight on, and he's keeping the E for the R. Tiara setting up a triple there. It's really, really hard to underlap if you don't have an E, and he has one of the 3 remaining E's, or 4 remaining E's. But he's going to be in trouble.
Really nice point too in the chat. In addition to all of the nice options that Evan has right now, like Jawan and Jaw, all of those seemingly keep a C hook here too, Josh. So Evan could be set to have a big several turn sequence of scoring plays, 40-point plays. First, right now with the J, then with the C, and then the S lurking.
Jason's drawn into teething to the G, though. Oh my
wow.
God. A game. There is no way that Evan is getting in the way of teething, is he?
Never. No chance.
95 points, which would put Jason ahead 21 right now. Jaw coming down for 39. It'll be an 18-point game after Jaw. Jawan slightly higher scoring. Does Evan Chester want the extra tile turnover with 2 blanks unseen?
Yes.
Probably.
Yeah,
I think
for
Jawan
sure.
Play.
This late in the game, if you're looking into a tile pool with both blanks, every additional tile you can play gains a little more value. It could turn into that blank. And we know Jason has the first one, but Evan could just draw the second one and keep this game out of reach, keeping CS a very, very nice combination to work with heading into next turn. But yeah, Jason with the huge draw of teething to keep him alive in this game. No need to delay. Here it comes. A lot hinging on Evan's draw. There is the second blank. Not sure if anything actually plays with that. He has Cob Nuts. Doesn't look like it plays, but a big, big draw for Evan just to know that Jason doesn't have it. But Josh, the unseen tiles are decent. There's still some stuff that Jason could draw out of the bag right now.
One last E for him. But wow, what a key draw for Evan to stay in the driver's seat despite the 20-point lead that he now is clinging on to. He was up 117 just a minute ago. How does this happen every time? It is so much entertainment on board one, so much to think about, and only one vowel for Evan Chester. There goes the draw for Jason. Oof. U, but the last E is on his rack, and there's still a potential for Jason drawing that last S, but it's looking really, really tough for him. might see him fall yet again twice in a row on stream. Evan Chester going to look through his options, trying to think about if I make this blank an A, an E, an I, an O, a U, giving myself a second vowel, can I bingo? But cob nuts, like you said, Will, doesn't quite fit to the right of teething.
Yeah, nothing playable for him. And because of that, the position gets way more complicated as you have to evaluate a lot of options. In a vacuum, something like knob looks like a decent way to score and overlap, but this is a very, very scary play to make with two more A's coming for the Anna hook. Could let Jason not only score significantly better in response to the triple, but maybe he can put a good letter for bingos at the top of the board too. So I would be worried about a play like that. Cobb shifting down a little bit, a much safer option to get some points. But man, if I'm Evan, I would love to do something about this lane, which is easily the best lane for 7-letter words. There is also into the R with IER words if Jason's drawn the last E, which we know he has done. So a play like Cobb, as nice as it is to score and balance and set yourself up nicely to get that game-winning bingo, doesn't do much to address the most salient threats on the board. Evan's going to go for it. I frankly think this is fine, Josh. There's no great way to do board control here.
Absolutely, and Evan has the chance himself to draw bingo to the R of rotaries, to the right of teething, underneath Tiara also. With SNT blank, he has fantastic chances. And even if Jason Lee were to bingo, he would completely empty the bag. What a great draw. Wow, that second S and the H for Evan Chester. It's looking closer and closer to a victory for him if he knows uh, playable
Snade,
snades.
shanties. There are words there.
So many things.
I wouldn't say they're the easiest, but I think between all that stuff, I bet he's going to know at least one of those. And if he doesn't, just hastens right here is one that he's going to know if it stays open. So he's got his pick of some good stuff. And it looks like Evan might have just punched his ticket to another win here on the live stream, barely 2 years after starting his tournament career.
Like I said, with 7 tiles exactly in the bag, even if Jason Lee were to bingo now and take maybe a 30, 40-point lead, he would be drawing all 7 remaining tiles. And with many different draws that Evan could have gotten, he would have been able to outmaneuver Jason in the end game and still win. So even with this draw, maybe FIE comes down and Evan doesn't see or know his playable bingos. Using the last E, by the way, but I think Jason is desperate enough that he needs to draw something high scoring next turn or the blank to win this game. I think this is a sensible play. I just don't see anything else for him in the position. But um, does he know shanties? It looks like he does.
Looks like it. That is huge. If he knows this and feels confident enough to send it here, that would be so impressive. I can't imagine that this is necessarily in his study range, but maybe it is, and it's a little deeper than I thought because he is going to confidently send this play, which is going to win him this game. As long as he designates that an I, he is in good shape.
Is this play on hold? Doesn't look like it. Yeah, it looks like the blank was properly designated. Evan emptying the bag, and this will be it. Wow, what a performance from him.
As you said, Josh, a couple tough setbacks on the live stream for Jason, who had just clawed his way up to first place in the standings, had a brutal 2-point loss to Joey Malik that we just saw, and now Evan Chester is going to take him down. But this is what we are in for from here on out. Somebody's going to reach the top spot in the standings, and everybody else is going to give them their very best shot to pull them back to the pack. That is par for the course in an event like this. It's very, very rare for somebody to simply run away with it at any point. And even then, remember, after 28 rounds, top 2 players in the field will play a finals. It'll be a reset. So even if somebody does start to run away with it from here, there is an eventual reset looming for the finals match. So it's going to be crazy from here on out. Too many good players with not enough spots to make the finals.
Yeah, incredible job by Evan Chester, but a couple setbacks for Jason Lee. 13-5 will be his record after this. 12-6 for Evan Chester going into the lunch break. And in terms of this end game, of course, the game is already determined who is going to win. But Ligular looks like Jason's potentially best play to the R and Rotaries. Evan Chester is threatening to play Vims to the S of Shanties, so anything better than Ligular would probably block that option and threaten to go out next turn. We'll see what Jason Lee ends up deciding with 9 minutes to go. Time usage was fantastic for both players. Both players playing really strong Scrabble here. Yeah, great job by both of them. But Evan Chester, what an amazing performance by him for a second stream game of the tournament. And this is his first nationals in Division 1 after winning Division 2 last year. Incredible.
It's stunning. It really, just don't, if you're out there watching, really try to take our word for it here. Josh and I in the booth are trying to tell you that this is not something you see every day. Somebody in just their second year of play ascending to the top board. You mentioned that this was incredibly sharp play by both players, and it is true that it was a very well played game by both. Tough decisions for Jason at various points that I think he navigated very well. Some really nice plays from Evan as well. But you don't see this level of play from a just 2-year veteran of the game. So I can't tell you how impressive that is as we see Jason play Glout. Not sure he's just thinking about an out of two, maybe not thinking of Ligular. Evan going to play Vims, definitely looks correct. And we're about to see the end of this game one way or another. Are we? Where's the outplay? Oh, Liar. Okay. Yes, of course.
Liar or Tail on the left side of the board for Jason Lee. He also had Ales and LIAS to the S and Shanties. So just a regular out and two for him. And there it goes. A 7-point outplay for Jason Lee, bringing him to 368. 374 to 460 is the final score. Let's listen to the overhead mic.
For what?
480? 474? No? Oh, you are correct. Yeah, 460?
No, 450?
Uh,
no. Maybe I'm okay.
yeah.
357, 90, 440, 460.
Yeah. All right. Good game.
Good game.
Yeah. Sorry to baby bingo you to death.
I mean, when you watch and you see my racks, you'll
Yeah, I'll
you'll-
feel pity.
It's
That's
crazy
fair.
the plays I had to make. Yeah.
Yeah.
I did okay, I think.
I believe you. You're
my
too good
back's-
to not be playing okay.
My
I
racks
just
I could have traded early, maybe. I don't know, maybe.
what were you the type of stuff were you keeping?
Huh?
What were your leaves?
I'm trying to think because
Okay.
they're all very consonant heavy.
Yeah, I kind of assumed that.
RN for bucked, tip cap, I don't know. Z. I had no vowels.
Oh,
Z,
damn.
W, N. Something else.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I trust that you did well with what you had.
Z, B, W, N, R, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that looks
This is-
right. I kind of guessed that the E might have been your only
This
vowel.
guy- V, R, W, U, N.
Oh my god.
But I was like, the board is very closed, right?
Yeah.
I was like, oh, I got bailed out, and then
Yeah.
I kept RL, and then I have the X
Yeah. I considered making the play here on the ordeal turn. I mean, that was unplayable Ladrone. Like,
This was good timing for you.
yeah.
I had a bingo here,
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
surging. Although
Gotcha.
it worked out, this worked out. But I mean,
Yeah, it worked out, but yeah,
And then I was like, I could have played Elf here. I guess that would have saved me. No, you have Shanties here too.
yeah, I have bingos in both spots. It was just hopeless. I mean, Cobb kept NST blank. It's an even pool. I mean, I could have whiffed for sure. I mean, VMM was in the bag. But
I guess I should have done something else here.
maybe you're supposed to block Vims, just because I think that then forces me to play Via and get stuck with the two M's.
Yeah, probably, but
It's
I need an out.
yeah, you do need it. I mean, you know, no, I can't actually play both M's together on this board.
I saw Lingular,
Okay.
but the O doesn't really work. If I draw O here, you just play Vins.
If you play there for 2,
Right here, you
yeah.
play Vim here.
Oh, right.
Actually, play.
Okay.
Yeah, you play Vim.
Yeah, right.
So the O doesn't really work. So I don't know. Maybe,
Yeah.
maybe I should have counted.
Yeah.
Is Ziggular more? No, it's probably close.
Yeah.
So yeah. Okay.
It's probably close. Yeah.
All right.
All right. Yeah. Let's get the score submitted.
Alrighty. Crack's so bad, even Jason Lee couldn't remember what he left on his early game decisions. That really means that he was struggling. These players are so good, they remember every position for games all day long. But this will take us into our lunch break. Will Anderson here. Well, I'm Josh Sokol, but Will Anderson is there. Okay, hi.
I'm here. Yeah.
Great to have you among us with me calling these games. Always a pleasure. We have around an hour of lunch, which will take us into round 19 out of 28 before two champions are crowned. I guess they won't be fully crowned until the best of 5 on Wednesday, but a little bit of a break for the players, for us, for you guys watching at home. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the NASPA Scrabble YouTube channel, even if this is the only content that comes out of that channel every year. It's certainly well worth it to watch top-level North American play.
Yeah, no question. This stream is definitely one that we look forward to every year. This event just has drama that is tough to match. The 28 game cutoff, the two players racing, or rather everybody racing for the 2 spots to become one of the 2 finalists. It is high drama. It's incredible to watch, incredible to take part. And yeah, we've got a bunch of players at the top who are in good position. Jason losing 2 games on the stream, but he is still right there alongside the likes of Ori Swift and Joey Malik. And big win for Evan as he continues to work his way up there. 3 more games after lunch, like Josh said, where we will get a clearer picture of who is going to be in this thing heading into the final day of the main event.
Yeah, Joey Malik playing Ori Swift. So one of them has dropped to 13-5. I don't believe the game has finished yet. So it is very likely that Jason Lee will climb into 2nd place after that game is over. Also, I forgot that my computer has the wrong time zone on it. It's actually more like 2 hours of lunch. We'll be back at around 2:45 Central Time for the next round. So yeah, so around 2 hours of lunch. Would like to call out the stream, the call-in stream on the Let's Play Scrabble YouTube channel that is also being live streamed right now as we speak. I don't know if their game is over, but you should be watching both streams if you love Scrabble. Josh Greenway producing that one with a host of awesome commentators. I wish I could be watching, but I cannot multitask to that degree. But yeah, go over to the Let's Play Scrabble YouTube channel, subscribe to them if you haven't already. Check out those games, some top-level players, Wellington Jigere. You got the Ranky twins, you got Josh Castellano, Alex Seaholm, Austin Shin. So many top players as well on that side of things, Will.
The story there has to be Alex Seaholm, I believe the defending champion there, starting 1-6 and then winning 10 games in a row to move to 11-6. He is right there, a game back of the leaders heading into the round we just witnessed. Not sure whether he just won his 11th straight game or not, but Alec surging up the standings to try to defend his championship seems to me, Josh, like the storyline right there.
Yeah, and it's a round robin format, so Alec is playing everybody once, as is everyone else in the field. That round robin is going to be over, I think, next round, round 19. But I believe that game might still be in progress. In any case, we will leave you with that 2 hours of break and we'll pan to that board for that break just to show you a little bit of what's going on there. But we'll see you back here in a little bit less than 2 hours time for round 19 of the 2026 Scrabble Players Championship. See you then.